Now, Ethan goes and tells the Prime about the werewolf mystic he's discovered because he's really worried about her. She's trapped there with the astronomer guy because Ethan reveals he thinks she's a true alpha. Like, by the smell of her, she smells really powerful. And the wolf asks him to describe the scent, and it is heavily implied that she could be like a lost heir to the wolf kingdom. She could, in fact, be like even more important than Sabine. Meanwhile, Tharion tells the River Queen that he doesn't want to marry her daughter, and everything kicks off. He annoys everybody, so he legs it and he goes to the Viper Queen. And I kid you not, Tharion swears a blood oath to the Viper Queen. It's not necessarily called that, but we've seen blood oaths before in the Massiverse. Okay, we know what this is, and we know it's stupid. We juxtapose this awfulness with the amazingness that is Rune and Day having in the mind room. And it's very good. You know, they are now like this little couple, but they don't. They're so cute. I just want them to be happy and together. But Rune shares their plan to go to the Eternal City with Day, and she starts freaking out. She's like, absolutely not. You cannot do that. And she gets like pulled away before she can explain why it's such a bad idea. So we are left on a cliffhanger there. So we have the group split off. Declan's at home with Flynn. They're monitoring the cameras. Hunt, Bryce, and Rune, they go into the city with Cormac. And as they're there, Rune is the one that actually lets Bryce know that she is in fact more powerful than the Autumn King, because no one's really shared that power with her. And he stresses like, you're more powerful than our dad. You're the most powerful Fae around. You are amazing. I stand Bryce. And when they break into the palace, they split up, and Rune goes to try and find Day because he's convinced that she's down in the dungeon somewhere. And this is when Bryce enters the secret room, and we get concrete formation of the Massiverse. She finds out because there are like pipes with Asteri names on and power levels that the Asteri are literally feeding off of the first and second light of the Vanir in Midgard. They're eating the magic. They're eating the magic. And there's a book in there about Dusk. And she finds information just about the whole universe. Or should I say, the Massiverse. Because there is a map and it shows all of the different places the Asteri have conquered. They've gone from world to world, conquering and consuming. So they are aliens. They are interdimensional space travelers who feed off of magic. And what they've done is they found Midgard, a world that had no magic to it at all, but was quite empty and had like some humans there. And so what the Asteri did is they started taking magical creatures from other worlds they had conquered and brought them all into Midgard to curate the perfect balanced meal, and trapped them on Midgard so that they could just suck the magic from them over time. You know, parasites, they're not going to kill their hosts, right? They're just going to keep all of these magical creatures in this contained space and just sip, constantly drink from the well of magic of these living, breathing creatures. They've brought them there to eat them. And then, oh no, we need to let enough of them live so that they have children. Then we get to eat the magic of the children and the grandchildren forever and ever and ever. We find out that Thea and her Fae, they find out that they're being taken advantage of, and that the demons, the princes of hell, they find a way into Midgard. Okay, they find a way to come in and try and rescue everybody. And Thea and her Fae, they try to help and save the world. And obviously fail. And the creatures of hell, they know about the Asteri because they had failed to conquer hell before. So the creatures of hell, these demons, they very much position themselves in opposition to the Asteri. Okay, and they wanted to get into Midgard and stop the Aseri doing what they were doing, which was basically cultivating like an ant farm for them to just feast from. And as Bryce starts trying to figure out, well, where do the Asteri come from? What are their weakness? How do we get rid of them? Regelis comes in and he lets her know they don't actually know where they're from. They've forgotten they've been traveling and eating and devouring for so long. They've forgotten the place they called home. What the hell? Outside, while all this is going on, Cormac gets into like a shootout. Pippa shoots him, and Cormac sacrifices himself to blow up the laboratory that is in, which is just awful, awful, awful. Cormac is now dead. Do I really care though? I mean, he was a good guy-ish. But obviously, now that Sophie's dead and he knows Emil's safe, he's like, I'm a peace out. I taught Bryce everything I could. My mission is complete. So I do kind of respect Cormac for that. But Rune gets captured by Murdoch, as he's like out in the corridors. Now, Regelis explains that Thea and Hel, what they've done is they've closed Midgard off. So the Asteri can no longer go from world to world when they see fit. They are stuck in Midgard with the supply they brought with them, served them for quite a while, but the Asteri want to move on. They want to be conquering and eating more kinds of magic. And so what they've been waiting for is someone like Bryce, who can use the horn and open the doors to travel between worlds again. They've inadvertently created their own prison where they're trapped here with the food supply, but they can't get out. And so they want Bryce to free them. Danica obviously had figured out, because she could smell people's blood types, etc., that there were different kinds of fae, but they had things in common, and started looking into the system. And when the Asteri realized that Danica was onto them and the whole purpose of Midgard as a space, they told Mika to nip her in the bud and to get rid of her because she knew too much. Bryce runs off and finds Hunt handcuffed, like shackled in the hallway because the harpies got him and she gets Bryce. They are taken down to the dungeons. Okay, so they've now got Rune, they've got Hunt, and they've got Bryce. They trap him down there, and the harpy starts torturing Rune, and out of nowhere, she is attacked and killed by the Hind. Because Lydia, the Hind, Hypaxia's sister, is Agent Day. Another great reveal. This is one I actually liked. I called it, but I liked it. It was her reaction to the whole, well, thank God you weren't the harpy. Ha ha ha. She's like, yeah, that would be a bad thing, wouldn't it? Now, the Hind, she frees everyone from their shackles, but Pollux comes in, and she obviously has to pretend to have just like apprehended them all, but she whispers something to Bryce as everyone's getting handcuffed. Obviously, if Pollux finds out that Lydia just killed the harpy and was helping them, her undercover identity will be in jeopardy. So the group is taken to Regelis in the throne room, and she's like, Bryce is very quickly trying to catch everyone up with, I've just found out this. Interdimensional space aliens. Eating all of our magic. We're from other planets. The others are trying to digest it like, okay, this tracks. When they get to the throne room, there is like a portal. There is space to make a gate to somewhere else. And apparently what the Asteri have done is push Bryce onto Danica's former investigation because they wanted Bryce to figure things out and come to the palace so she could open a portal for them. Now that they know that she's a Starborn Fae, they were like, we'll just get her to come here. She can find out what her friend kind of knew, and I bet she'll come to us. And we'll get her to open the door and free us. from Midgard, our prison. They essentially wanted to reopen the rift between worlds so that they can start traveling again. And Regelus reveals that he shapeshifted, and Adis hasn't been in this book. When he visited earlier and he was the cat, and we were all like, I didn't know this was a demon. Wasn't. It was Regelus shapeshifting. Our guy Adis, he's still a good one. He's not been involved at all. He wasn't even here. Regelus went in, pretended to be Adis, and got them all on board. Was like, look, you need to start investigating. Get on it, guys. They have been played like a finely tuned violin or a harp. Now, Bryce says, okay, if you let the others go, I'll open this portal. And so the Asteri think that, yeah, we've got a good. And she starts saying goodbye to Rune and Hunt. And because she knows Rune is a mind reader, she tells him, she's like, my shackles, my chains, they're already undone. Move over to the side a bit and I'll undo yours. And then you can undo Hunt's. And then none of us are in chains anymore. And Rune tells her that she does need to open the portal, but she needs to open a portal to hell and she needs to go there and come back with an army. You know, he says, you need to be our savior. You need to turn your backs on us right now. Go get help. This is so much bigger than us. And he drops something into her pocket, which we think might be the comm crystal. But it's the fact that he's like, oh, go. And if you can't find an army, don't come back. Like, he tells her, like, I love you, I trust you, go do your best. But if you can't find an army to come with you, go be safe somewhere else, Bryce. I'd rather you have a future and be alive somewhere. Like, we'll be okay, go. Leave us. And he gives her the sword. He gives her the sword. He's like, it's more yours than mine anyway. It's always meant to be yours. Because Rune's expecting to die. That's what this is. So when he's saying goodbye to Bryce, he's saying goodbye, goodbye. And I'm like, no, Rune. He loves her so much. Their sibling love in this it's just everything. And Hun, we have one of the most beautiful, beautiful declarations. Like, for someone who isn't super eloquent, when Hunt tells Bryce, our love it's bigger than us. It can span across worlds. Wherever you are, I will find you and I will love you. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't believe I'm going to cry on this one. No. I just say it's all very emotional. And obviously, they're all secretly free of their shackles. So they start fighting. Okay. They attack the Asteri and they give Bryce the opportunity to run. And she has to leave the two men she loves more than anyone else in the world, her brother and her mate, behind as she opens a portal to hell and runs through it. And the guys, like, the portal closes and Regelus is like, no, she's gone. And they take Hunt and they take Rune and they're gonna torture them. They take them to the dungeons and they grab Hunt and they put the halo back on him. And the line is just, and then Hunt knew nothing. Is he unconscious? Have they wiped his mind? We don't know. But Hunt's got the halo back on and he now knows nothing. And Rune is being taken to be tortured. And Bryce lands on a beautiful grassy field. And she is like, this is not like what I thought hell was going to be like. And this guy comes along and he doesn't seem to understand her. She is like, my name is Bryce Quinlan. I am looking for the Princess of Hell. I need help to go and feed the Asteri. And he's just looking at her like, you don't speak English. And so we've got Bryce super confused in a very pretty place with a very handsome man, all in black, with demon wings. So he grabs her and takes her to this beautiful house. And in this house, there are a lot of random people. One of them looks like her friend Fury. She is like, this is very odd. Why is no one speaking my language? I need help now. And her sword, it starts vibrating, and she looks up and she sees the guy that's just picked her up and brought her there. He's got the dagger. He's got the twin dagger to her sword. They found each other. The dagger and the sword, they're reunited, like in the prophecy. And she's traveling away and it's like, guys, okay, someone needs, there is my mate and my brother, and there are aliens and they are eating everybody's magic. And then all of a sudden, in walks a man who looks just like her brother. And Bryce says, well, the only other language I know is ancient Fae. So she starts speaking in High Fae. And this man looks at her and says, well, hello, Bryce Quinlan. My name is Rhysand. I read this at 2 a.m. the night of release. Okay, it'd been released during the daytime, and by 2 a.m., I read that line, and I was in my bed, and I had no one to talk to. And I became member 22 of the worldwide spoiler group chat for HOSAB. Because Bryce Quinlan is now in Prithian. And that's how Sky and Breath ends. And it is the best, coolest thing any author has ever done. My mind exploded. I was practically vibrating. So here we have it. The Massiverse. Firmly intertwined. We're caught up. We're caught up. If there are any videos after this in the playlist, then you're clearly watching this in the future. Oh my God. It's been a ride, guys. It's been a ride. I'm glad we've been on this journey together, and we've gone as far into the Massiverse as we can to date. But that's everything. And the next time I see you to talk about this topic, I'll have read Flame and Shadow because it'll be out, which is so exciting. Oh, but on that note, I'll love you and leave you. Like, I know no more. This is all I know. I've given you everything I have. So many people have theories about what X, Y, and Z means. Some of them I really like, some of them I hope don't happen. And I'm very, very close to getting answers. And so are you guys. So let's wrap it up. Let's leave it here. I'll see you again in the future when other books come out. I really hope you've enjoyed this as we've delved not just into, pretty much through the Massiverse in its entirety to date. This has been amazing, and it's been great prep for me for the next book coming out, and I hope it's helped you guys get up to speed. Ah! It's so good. But that is everything. So I will love you and leave you and see you in the future. Bye for now.